Right, so it's been a little while since I've put a video out, and mainly just because there's not been too much going on with the pond, and I just thought I'd give it a few months just to get everything settled in over the winter, because let's be honest, with koi, winter's a pretty boring time of year, especially as I'm unheated. They're kind of just sulking through the cold weather, mostly pretty dormant. So now we're into the summer, I thought I'd give you a little update. There's been quite a few people sending me messages on Instagram and through YouTube comments asking for an update on how I'm getting on with the pond, if there's anything I would have changed now it's been running for a little while, and any improvements that I might make into the future. So I thought I'd just give you a little rundown on where we've been. I'll take you into the filter house, show you the upgrades that I've made. As you can see behind me, I've now got the shower running, which I didn't in my last video. I've started the tiling, so we'll just go through things a little in detail and give you a bit of an update. So as you can see, it's starting to look a little nicer. I'm halfway through the tiling on the outside of the cladding. The cladding itself is from the Stone Tile Company, and it's a porcelain slate style. I think it's called multicolour rustic, I believe. I think it looks really nice. I was going to go with the deep grey colour on the pond, but when I stood back and we thought about it for a little while, me and my wife, we decided that this multicoloured one would probably blend in a bit better with all the red tile brick around everywhere as well, and just sit into the garden. And I think with the slate on the top, the coping stones, it's going to look really nice. So I'm getting there now with it. It's just taking me a little while because my brickwork isn't the smoothest, so I've had to adjust a few of the tiles to get them to sit a bit better. And I'll need a little bit of pointing up just to get everything flush eventually. But you can see we've got the coping stones all the way around the outside as well. They just need pointing up when I've done those as well. But yeah, you can see the fish behind me. They're doing really well in this pond now. There's a few new additions. We'll go into a bit of detail about them later on as well. But the other major change since my last video is that I've got the Bakkie shower behind me running. The shower itself is the koi shower. It's their smallest one that they do. It's 3 tiers. I'm not actually sure, I can't remember what the kilograms of media in it, but it's got their equivalent of Bakkie house media in there. It seems to be doing really well, it's maturing. The pond itself, I'm now really going through new pond syndrome, well, coming out the other side of it really, I should say. We've had really high nitrite for a while. I've been having to do water changes. The pond is currently salted at 0.3 just to help with the effects a little bit of the nitrite as we just come through the last of the new pond syndrome, hopefully. So we're feeding fairly minimal at the moment, but still 4 times a day. And food wise, I'm feeding a mixture at the moment of sake akari growth and colour, as the water is now sitting probably at about 22 degrees because this heat wave has really brought the water temperatures up, and holding consistent as well, which is the main thing. And the insulation on the side walls that I put into the pond when I built it, and also being the 5-foot depth, it's keeping that temperature nicely even with the cooler night temperatures. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with how everything's running. As I say, we'll go into the filter house. There's been some changes in there as well, but yeah, just really happy with how it's been running. The water clarity is pretty good. The window could do with a clean, I've just noticed really sitting here. There's some fines in the pond at the moment. I do think the one thing that I would probably change, and probably will change before long, people did tell me as I was building it, but I'm stubborn when I come to things. I get an idea in my head and I do it. I put a standard non-variable pump on the Nexus. It's the Aquaforte 13,000 pump that I put on when I built it. So with the pipework slowing it down, I'm probably at about 9,000–10,000 litres an hour, turning it over through the Nexus. But I think really it could do with being slower than that to really help get the fines down in the Nexus. So I should have put a variable pump on there, like people told me. But yeah, I think I'll probably get a 20,000 variable to go on that one. Sorry, no, that's not what I was planning to do. I was thinking I'd probably get a 30,000 variable to put on the skimmer line, and the 20,000 variable I've got on the skimmer line I'll put on the Nexus, just to make it a bit more economical running over the shower. So yeah, I really like the Bakkie shower itself. As I say, it's the one from Koi. I hadn't seen too much people talking about them, but I really like the design around the edges. You've got quite a good lip there for oxygen turnover, because the original Bakkie showers have got quite a big gap around the edges, really to help with that exchange of oxygen through the layers, which is apparently what it needs most. Some of the Bakkie showers you see, they're basically sealed all the way around the edges the way the trays sit, so that's why I went with the 20 koi one. It seems absolutely rock solid. You know, they're a good brand, good company, a great shop, so I thought I'd trust them and go with that, and it's been running faultlessly since I've had it. So yeah, we'll take you into the filter house, we'll go through what's happened in there and give you a little update, and then we'll talk you through some of the koi that we've got in there at the moment. Alright, so as you can see, the filter house is behind me. We'll go into a bit closer in a second, but I just thought I'd talk you through how I've piped up the 20 koi shower and how that's set up off the skimmer line. So I'll spin you round, and as you can see, we've got the big skimmer from JVR Plastics, I think it was. It's been running really nicely. We've got the overflow set there nicely, and the basket seems to collect everything. I did alter, I don't know if you can see that, it usually comes with 3 small slots, but for where my water line is, I just routed out a bigger slot. It just sits a lot nicer for the water flow, and it really rips through there. As you can see, we've got a really nice flow coming through, and that just comes straight down. We've got an isolating ball valve, and that's 2-inch pipe work straight into a 22,000 Vary pump, I think they are, but I'm pretty sure they probably are just the 20,000s really. We've got 2-inch pipe work. I still need to put a support on this pipe work length along here. I have got wall clips for it just down there all the way along, and then it runs up the back of the pond, and then we've got the angled 2-inch pipe work direct straight into it. So it is direct straight off the skimmer line, smashing over the media. I haven't noticed a difference hardly at all in the fines in the pond from it. I saw a lot of people on other videos saying that you might have trouble smashing 22,000 litres an hour over a Bakkie shower without a pre-filter with fines, but absolutely nothing. The media breaks everything down eventually, and it's a real fast turnover going over that shower, and really is just smashing it up on there. So I'm really happy with that. It's worked really well, as I said, straight through, really simple, and that's been my philosophy really since I've built this pond. I follow a lot of the Koi Wholesale and Koi Talk channels, if you have seen those, and Ricky's motto on there is keep it simple, don't overcomplicate things, and that's what I'm trying to do with this pond, especially as I'm learning, getting into it, trying to keep things as simple as possible, just so I can learn and make changes as I go from there on after a year or so of running like that. So yeah, if I just spin you around, I'll show you the other additions to the filter house. As you can see there, we have a big blue with a pre-filter. So for those of you that don't know what that is taking the chlorine out of my tap water. So I just have a garden pipeline coming in. This was supplied by Filtrations, absolutely brilliant company. Andy seems to know absolutely everything to do with water. So this is the little pre-filter. The water comes in, goes through the pre-filter, and then into this big blue, which is full of catalytic carbon, and the water slowly flows through there from the tap and removes all the chlorine. And then I just have that coming round and straight into the top of the Nexus, where I've made a little cover there to stop the media going down, and the hose pipe, and it just trickles it in to where the pump heads back to the pond. So it mixes it in as it goes, and all the chlorine's already come out. So yeah, really happy with that. It's really helped. I did have a 3-stage dechlorinator beforehand, but it really wasn't keeping up with the high levels of chlorine that were in my tap water. Even with an incredibly slow flow, I was still getting traces of chlorine at the end of it with brand new cartridges. So I upgraded to this, and it's the best thing that I've done really for the pond. It really has helped. So the Nexus itself, I'll spin you around. Just give me 1 second, I'll take the lid off and I'll explain to you the changes that I've made to the Nexus. Alright, so here we have the Nexus, pretty standard still. The only addition that I've changed to it is I've added a lot more media. So if we just scoop a handful, you'll be able to see that I've added some of the biochips from Awase, just because I thought I'd have different media in there to see how it goes. We've got some K1 and K Plus media as well. We've got 200 litres in there and 10 litres of the pond chips, and it's all rolling over really nicely. The pond chips took absolutely ages to mature to actually go to neutral buoyancy and turn over, but I did have to alter the mesh front to stop the pond chips getting into the pump, and that is just a fine stainless steel mesh. but I can't really show you because it's all underwater. I'll go into that in another video at some point, I'm sure. But the other addition that I've made, which you might be able to see, depends how it zooms up, you can see the ring lines there on the easy section, and also in the center you'll be able to see there's a tape line there as well. And what that is from Eden Coy's channel. He was talking about the adjustment you can make to the center section of the easies. You can buy a whole new one from an online company, I think they're called Tempests or something along those lines. And what it is it reduces the number of slots, and it forces the water to come through the bottom and up through the media a lot better. And you can do that with a certain type of duct tape, which is water safe and fish safe. You can wrap around, and you can reduce the number of in little slots, I should say, in the middle section, and that will force the water through, and it utilizes the media a lot better, and it really has helped with fines. And I've been running that now pretty much since the pond got going, and I've had no problems with it blocking up. And it's kind of a compromise between the standard Nexus and the alternative version that you can buy online. So I'll go into another video about that at some point, but check out Eden Coy Pond's channel, and he has videos on all about setting that up and comparing it to the standard version as well. So yeah, it's run really nicely. Everything else has been running fine. We've got the waste going to the drain, that's all worked perfectly. And yeah, got a really nice flow going through there into the Nexus. All the media's bubbling over nicely. Everything's now starting to get nice and mature. And as you can see, it is keeping it really nice and clear behind me. So I don't know how the light's sat on there, but the fish swimming around pretty near the bottom, and you can see that nicely. So yeah, really happy with how the pond's gone, to be quite honest with you. As I say, the only changes I would have made is to fit a variable pump onto the Nexus, not a standard pump, but I was warned that, so that's my own fault. Added the Big Blue, should have done that right from the very start really. I'd definitely recommend doing that instead of bothering with the 3-stage dechlorinator. Also chat with Andy Finch at Filtration, because he can provide the different carbons to deal with chloramines in the tap water as well, or heavy metals depending on what's in your tap water. So yeah, I'll spin you around in a second and we'll talk you through some of the new additions to the pond fish wise. Alright, so I've no idea if they're going to come up and play ball. They have been fed recently, so they're just chilling a bit. But I've recently added a small Tosai Chagoi from Marseille, and the scalation on him is absolutely stunning. I don't know if you're going to be able to make that out, but he is absolutely scale perfect. I'm really looking forward to see how this one grows. He is an absolute stunner, and hopefully he's going to turn into a real big beast, feeding on the Alsaki growth. Then underneath that, I promised my wife would get her a koi once the pond was finished. So she picked out this lovely Yamabuki Ogon, which is also from Marseille, I believe, if I remember rightly. All these fish have come from selective koi sales nearby, just on the outskirts of Norwich. Absolutely brilliant, massive selection of fish and products, and they really know what they're talking about. And that is a really beautiful fish. But the one thing that stands out for me on this fish is the absolute size of its mouth. It is absolutely huge. I'm sure it's going to be a real good grower. It really stands out from the others. And then you might be able to make out swimming around this tiny little tancho, and that's from Matsunoke. I think Matsunosuke, or however you pronounce it. I'm not great with the names. It's not a round tancho spot, but I picked it. It was only a relatively cheap fish from them, really small Tosai. But I picked it, just how deep that benny is really stands out. Hopefully it's going to stay and develop really nicely, and I think it's got potential to be a really nice fish that fills out. The Shiroji on it is absolutely beautifully white. The only issue is with it, it's missing a couple of scales and a mark on its tail, because when we put it in, all the other fish instantly bullied it because of how small it was, chasing it around the pond, and it launched out within minutes of going in there. Luckily I was outside with it watching it, and I managed to get it straight back sorted, and he's been fine with them ever since. So he's an absolute greedy one as well, so hopefully he grows on well. And I don't know if I've told you or shown you before, but I have a shower in here as well now. I can't remember if it was in the last video, and I picked him purely because of the split head, perfectly split down the middle, the red and white, almost Harlequin style. So I think it's going to be a really nice fish. I cannot think where it came from. I think Miatora. I cannot remember though, to be quite honest with you. I've got it written down, but I think it's got the potential to turn into a really nice fish once it gets a bit of size to it. So yeah, they're all the changes we've made to the fish as well. The others have all stayed the same, and they're all growing pretty quick really rates now. So yeah, if I just take you inside to our conservatory, show you how it looks, which is one of the reasons we built it where we did, is for this view in the mornings. So we can sit here in the morning, sit in the chair and look through the conservatory window as we're having a coffee and just watch them all swimming around, and it's absolutely brilliant. Definitely the best thing that I've done, having it in that location. Really happy with how it's turned out. So yeah, the plans for the future is to finish off this tiling. As you can see behind me, I've still got a little way to go. But other than that, really, other than adding some new fish and tidying up the rest of the garden, I don't really have any plans to do much more to it at the moment. I'm really happy with how it's going. Might add a bit more media to the Nexus as that matures, just to see, once I've got over the new pond syndrome, start really pushing the feed. I need to get myself a new auto feeder because the old one's broken, so that's on the list as well. But once we've done that, start cranking the feed up, see how the Nexus deals with a heavier feed load, and the Bakkie shower, and add some more media if we need to, and look into it as we go. So yeah, that's just the update for now. I really appreciate all those that have messaged me asking me how the pond's going, saying that they enjoyed the build series. If you haven't seen all the build series and you're thinking of building a pond, I've done videos on pretty much every aspect of building this one, so check that out. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, especially going with the liner as well, from Kirky's Koi, I think I can't remember now, my mind's going blank. It's really nice, there's only a few folds in it, creases I should say, not folds, so really happy with that decision as well for the cost. And yeah, just everything's turned out well. Hard work's paid off in the end. So thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have some more koi videos as the year goes on. My fishing videos are returning as well. I'm finally over my back injury pretty much, so I'm back out on the bank fishing again. So there'll be lots more videos coming, so hit like and subscribe to keep an eye out on what's coming in the future, and we'll catch you in the next one.